everybody. Welcome back to Terps Esports. Live from College Park, my name is Lily.
And my name is Bree. Welcome to the first Valorant stream of the semester. We are super excited to have you guys back tonight for an awesome match from our co-ed premier team.
Tonight, the Terps are facing off against Illini Orange from the University of Illinois in the Play versus Premier League. And this is a new league for the Terps, so we're super excited to see how this season unfolds.
Before we jump into the game, let's start with the rules of your typical Valorant match. If you've never played the game before, Valorant is an objective-based FPS game where teams of 5 players compete in 2 12-round cycles against each other. The main objectives of the game are to plant the spike, defend the spike, manage economies, and create strategic plans to outsmart your opponent and take the win.
All right, now that everyone has a good grip of the game, let's jump right into the action.
Now, it's time for us to introduce you to the members of the team and take a look at their stats from last semester's NECC season. There's some new faces in the studio tonight and quite a lot of familiar faces as well. So make sure you give everyone a warm welcome as we break down the roster and show you what they're bringing to the table this season.
All right, starting off strong, we have our duelist Yex. Yex has been an important piece of this roster in years past, but he has taken a break last semester. He is officially out of retirement though. And he's got an ACS of 299, an ADR of 193, and a KD of 2.1. And with those stats, I'm sure his team is happy to have him back, and I'm so happy that he's out of retirement.
So next on the roster is Moose. Moose is the team's sentinel, so you'll probably see him on Cypher or Vise tonight. You might want to rotate out if you catch him on the site you're pushing, because he's got it on lock. Moose is coming in with an ACS of 155, an ADR of 105, and a KD of 0.8. I'm super excited to see what he brings to the game tonight.
Yeah, and Moose is actually a familiar face. We saw him on that Premier roster for the first time last semester, and he really, put a good foot forward in that controller role. He's able to kind of sneakily rack up those kills before the enemies are aware of it. And real quick, let's run back to Yex and just take another look at what he's been able to do. So, yes, not only is he our duelist here, but he can also do a backflip, apparently. So, hopefully we'll get a picture of that up soon. But next up, we have the team's controller, Cloud. And Cloud might also look familiar from our Academy streams last semester. I'm really excited to see what he's able to accomplish with this new roster by his side. He's got an ACS of 211, an ADR of 139, and a KD of 1.17.
Now, we have Sind. As the team's initiator, he's got a sixth sense for sniffing out teammates and enemies and feeding his team the info that they need.
You got it, Bree. Sind has an ACS of 207, an ADR of 139, and a KD of 1.23. So last but not least, we actually have a new member of this team as the flex player, ZK1. So he's a completely new addition to this roster. So while we don't have stats for him, we'll make sure to give him a great introduction into his first time in the studio tonight. So please join me in giving a warm welcome to ZK1. Hi, how are you doing?
Doing pretty well, how are you?
Good, I'm good. You feel good to be in the studio? Feel good to be in the studio tonight? No, you're good.
It's a different environment, something I'm not used to, so.
Yeah.
I'm pretty happy to be here, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that. So just give us the rundown. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your Valorant career thus far.
I've been playing Valorant since beta when I was 14, and I've been competing since I was 15 for the past 4 years, on and off, and I finally came to college, and I was like, screw it, why not have a little bit of fun and join a Valorant team, and I'm super happy to have such nice people around me.
Yeah, boy, do I feel old. Beta at 14, way to age me. So next up, how has being a member of this team been treating you so far? And what are you hoping to accomplish this season in terms of moving through this new Play versus League as a group?
Being a member so far has been great. Everyone is so nice, so caring. Like, we go get lunch, we go hang out. Everything's like amazing. I haven't had any bad experiences so far. And what I'm hoping to accomplish is just, support them, try and help them, qualify, try and win something, just like that's always the goal, is always to win.
Yeah, it's a good goal to have. And I want to end on a bit of a more fun note. So could you give me your best Valorant hot take?
I don't know if it's much of a hot take, but I think if you're stuck in a rank for more than 1 or 2 months, it's on you, and you can't blame anyone except yourself.
Ooh. I just got. Okay. Well, thank you so much for that insight. It was great to get to meet you a little bit more before we head into the action tonight. So please join us after a brief commercial break, and we'll hop right into the game.
And I think by the end of the season, like now, we play together. Everyone kind of jokes around a little bit more and kind of shines their natural ray. We're excited just to see them play better as well.
With the middle school program, the best part has been seeing the moments of teamwork where the middle schoolers really seem to get the game, and so that's when you can see they're starting to get a little bit hooked on how esports can be so fun.
Game, or will red turn things around?
Terp Adventures. Take flight at Stamp. Host to countless Maryland events, programs, performances, and more. Feed your body, feed your mind, feed your soul. Let your talents soar. Dance, sing, perform. Find your thing. Join more than 800 student organizations and clubs. Find community here. Leadership lives here. Art thrives here. With space to grow. We're all just kids at heart. Let your imagination fly. Compete. Play. With wings on our feet. Here your spirit can fly. Here your soul lifts up. Here you remember those who came before. This is STAM. This is the center for campus life, where Terp adventures take flight. You belong here. Come fly with us.
Welcome back. We're gonna hop right into map number 1 shortly, and Bree did tell me that we are gonna be heading on to Lotus, which is very exciting.
I'm super excited. I feel like, at least from the players that I've seen last semester and have casted for last sem, I don't think Lotus is gonna be bad. I think it's going to be a really good run for the team. And I mean, I'm assuming that they've practiced so much and they already know what to do. We got a good lineup of players tonight. So either way, I think we are good to go.
Yeah, I would have to agree. This team is looking good. They're feeling confident. Most of these players have known each other for quite some time, and I think that definitely is helping with the chemistry. Even in studio, there's no, like, other than ZK1, there's no quite like unfamiliar faces, but even him, they seem to have already formed like a really good bond with him. And I don't know, the vibes just feel correct tonight. I don't know.
Yeah, I really like how he was explaining how they, they go get lunch together and they've acclimated with one another, and I think that's really important for good team chemistry, and especially with a game like Valorant, you need team chemistry. You cannot stress that enough. So I'm really glad that he's, feeling he's fitted in, and they're having a good night so far. So, and they already, all the team like clapped for him as well. So
yes,
that
it was very
sweet.
wholesome.
Yeah.
It was very wholesome. After we broke for a quick commercial break, his whole team gave him a standing applause for, getting to his first interview here for Terps Esports, hopefully first of many. As he did really age me. 14 at beta is kind of.
Lie, he did not have to clock us like that, because I also played during beta, but like,
I was not 14.
Gosh.
I was not 14.
You were 14.
I was not 14. That's crazy.
New lore drop.
But I'm very excited to see a new face in the studio, kind of refresh the vibes up a little bit, but also it's still familiar enough that to give me confidence like in this roster going into this map. And we have played against a University of Illinois before. I don't know if it was particularly this team, but if you have been a Terps Esports fan for a while, you know that typically our NECC seasons will start off with like a round robin best of one tournament where each team will play one team once for 3 maps, but different team each map. And I remember one of those teams being University of Illinois, and the Terps did come away with a win on that one. Granted, the roster's different on our side, probably the same situation over there. But nonetheless, this is a familiar program at least.
Yeah, it shouldn't be too big of a difference either way. I think they're gonna do really well either. I think despite like whichever side that they start on, attack or defend, they are on lock. Me personally, I'm not a fan of Lotus. Maybe that's just me.
No, I agree.
Like what ZK1 said with his hot take, if you're stuck in that rank for
That
more
was
than 1 or 2
another
months,
clock. That was another clock.
then you're the problem. Which, you know what? I'll take it. No, I'll take the blame this time, because rank reset lately has not been my friend.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know. Riot has to kind of fix that up a little bit, because I think recently they've just inputted replay mode, which I think is very exciting, especially for like Valorant editors who like to, do little 1-2 with their edits and stuff. But yeah, I'm super excited for tonight.
Yeah, the Valorant as a game looks a little bit different. There is a new map that has come into the equation since we broke for summer break. Corrode. It is not a very popular map unless you and the judge are best friends and you and a Bucky are tight like that. In which case, you're gonna love Corrode. There are just so many corners to camp in and wait for your enemies to swing before one-shotting them with a shotgun. But we are on Lotus, so looking at the UMD roster, we have a Yoru.
Ooh, wait, I'm actually really excited for this. Again, ZK1 is new to our roster, so we're not quite sure how he's going to perform tonight, but this is looking pretty strong so far. Yoru pick, and with another raise to help him out, 2 duelist pick, I think it's going to be good, especially since we're starting on attacker's side, that is, so.
Yeah. Being on the attack is going to help with our composition being so aggressive. We have 2 duelists in the equation, and keep in mind, ZK1 is our flex player, and the fact that his team has kind of chosen for him to go into that duelist role, secondary duelist role, that tells you a lot about the Terps strategy already before the map even begins.
No, they must have a lot of trust in ZK1 for tonight, and I'm really thinking that they're going to start pushing very aggressively. They're gonna start off very aggro. Like, I could just tell. What I'm already envisioning right now, probably a little bit of an A push, you know, and then switch to defender side. They're gonna throw that nade down A.
Yeah, 100%.
I could feel it. I could feel it already. But nonetheless, the chemistry is already looking great, and Illinois' team comp is also looking just as scary as the Terps as well. So I'm really excited to see how it turns out already.
All right, let's hop right into this game. So far, it looks like the Terps playing their attack kind of up conservatively here, and they're backing up, just waiting for a push to come through, waiting for contact to be made. They're gonna get a little bit of that right outside of Mound there.
Yeah, ZK is already starting to get really close to the entrance onto C-site already, while the rest of the team's starting to slowly back up into spawn. But again, I think I'm right with this assumption that he's going to start going a little aggro and take some noise so he distracts Illinois just a bit.
both sides at a bit of a stalemate here, but it's the calm before the storm as Cloud's gonna throw that paranoia through this A main entrance, and the Terps are able to take a little bit of space off of that as a result, but they are met with pushed up enemy lines here on this A site. There's currently 3 people just waiting for a push to come through, knowing that the Terps are gonna scale back and take advantage of a free C site. And they're actually not quite planning yet. They're holding their cards really close to their chest, but it looks like this Vice from Illinois is sniffing it out, and their suspicions are going to be confirmed as the Fade Dog flies through.
left.
Now the bomb will be planted here on this site, and it will be a full-on retake for Illini.
Yeah, and I really hope that the Illini starts to get going on the C site here, because it looks like we have a lockdown on C site already, and with 2 players over there trying to get on from CT, it's really difficult for the rest of Illini to get dominance as they're starting to fall like flies with 3 players left already on the team. Make it 2.
ZK1 and Cloud doing their part there on the retake, holding down the fort there when it comes to post plant, and that is a very strong start for the Terps here on map number 1.
That was a great play by the Terps. They weren't getting too antsy. I kind of noticed that Illinois was getting a little antsy, rotating back and forth, you know. I saw that the Vise was trying to hold and just wait to see if there's any noise coming in, but thankfully we had Yexus and Cloud just run onto site and help one another, and the rest of the Terps went ahead and flooded in, and it was just a great performance for our first pistol round.
And let's see what the Terps choose to spend their second round on attack doing. Are they going to be as passive as last time? Throw an early smoke, actually, to block off that A main entrance. And, oh, meanwhile, ZK1 is just waiting for this push to come through that he knows the Vice is on the other side of that box. Meanwhile, Sin's going to be a little bit aggressive with that Ares in hand, and the Terps waiting for these pushes to come through. And we're not pushing, but we're still being aggressive in our positions, in our angles, and in our gun. ZK1's going to push up with this scout and actually take one down with him as he pulls out his classic. Oh, and Sin also looking very aggressive with an Ares in hand. That's going to lead to his team taking up quite a bit of space behind him and potentially cooking up a B push here.
Yeah, I wasn't really expecting them to go ahead and start pushing B, but honestly, they're going in like flies. Yex is getting 2 kills with already a Vandal in hand, by the way. We have Sin already starting that plant as their Omen on Illinois' team is slowly walking up with just an itty-bitty classic. Will he be able to get this pick as he goes down onto mud, and will he catch one of the Terps backing? And no, Yexus ends that round off with 3 kills from that Vandal already for our second round here.
Yeah, and he's definitely happy to keep that Vandal with him, and Moose with the Phantom, so it's going to be a really strong eco round for the Terps coming up, and I really like how they're playing this offensive side. They're really doing a good job holding their cards close to their chest. They're not selling out their location too quickly, and when they do get spotted out, they're waiting for the aggression to come through on the other side before committing and, you know, losing a life and making your team down another player.
Yeah, they're not very antsy at all. If it was me, I'm impatient. I'm going in there already. But the Terps are very strategic with it, and that's what I love about our team. They're starting to go strong with the C push as Moose is kind of holding back, just making sure that nobody's lurking through B or A site as the rest of the team goes ahead and already does the fade ult onto C site, and they're running in like crazy.
So much utility on this C side. It's led to Terps getting control of lane there, but are they going to be able to execute this site is the question. Illini is holding it down right now. It's 2 picks for the Terps, and the TP for the Omen very sneaky, and it's just going to be Moose who's going to get caught on this flank, and is going to have to fight his way just to get back into his own spawn. Has to dodge a nade, turns around, and has just in between a rock and a rough place there. So Illini will take round number 3.
Very unfortunate round for the Terps, but honestly, let's go back to round 2. ZK1 already coming in with an outlaw told me everything I needed to know. So I'm expecting a lot of aggressive pushes, which we've seen already, but they're also very patient pushes. They're very strategic, again, like I said, but I think this time they're just gonna have to stick it out and not leave Moose just hanging out by himself, just, you know, watching A and B site just to prevent any pushes from Illini.
The Terps just making themselves known outside of B here. Looks like they're waiting for a push to come through before they make their final decision. Investing a lot of utility once again on this C site, and the Vice posted up in the same position as last time. This time with a wall in store, it's going to slow down the Terps a lot, and now they're forced to make a decision.
I like this comp though already, like how they're working so far. I mean, Illy is just on their A game, trying to make sure and prevent that no Terp walks in, but I'm really scared on the Raze on Illini's side. He's just holding down A, and I'm scared that, you know, there's gonna get a little bit of like a headshot glitch or something, because that Raze nade on A is no joke.
Yeah, a little jump peek here outside of A main for the Raze. For the Illini side, it's gonna sniff out a bit of a push from this A site, but it's gonna be a default actually from the Terps. Cloud dodges that fade utility. Is gonna be important for how the site execution's gonna come into order right now. ZK1 just trying to see what's going on this C site, but it's a bit of a stalemate here for the Terps. Haven't made any progress here on any site. They're gonna have to choose quickly. Looks like they will pick this B site, and it's a quick site execute. The Terps do get one picked off of them. However, they are still numbers up with the bomb planted and time on their side. Moose holding a really aggressive angle here on site's gonna lose Cloud in the process, but the Terps are still managed to come up on top here, and now Cloud and Yex gonna be very, very annoying for this Omen, and are just gonna wait for this tap to come through before using that Raze ultimate. He's not gonna need it, because Sin will be the one to get that last kill.
What a great play between Yex and Sin. They were holding hands near door and just 1, 2, 3 peek, fighting for each other's lives and just, you know, being there for one another. And in the end, we're still up here. We're already 1-3 so far. I was really scared because our numbers were starting to get a little too close against Illini's numbers. But in the end, great plant placement, great pushes by the team, and a really good reaction time by Moose, I do want to say, because the two players going ahead and just running that corner was scary.
And that's a really strategic position to be in post-plant, playing together from an angle that you know was in your favor. Really good idea from the Terps side, as they're starting out a little bit more aggressively. However, the bomb is over towards A, so I do think they are going to plan to not end C just based on the troubles that they're already facing there. And we can already see a slight scale back into their spawn. Just letting Illini be aggressive and letting them burn away some utility before really setting their sights somewhere.
Yeah, the Terps really favor C a lot. They like to start off with C and then slowly make some noise around A and B. But I think this time they're finally going to end up committing to C here. We already have ZK1 just at the walk-in entrance through C here, and I'm ready for him to throw in like a TP and bounce off that blind and get onto site and get things going. And it looks like that's what's going to go ahead and start happening as the Terps start to throw in all their util there. But unfortunately, the Vice on Illini's side, wow, 3 picks already, and they only have Moose left over just hanging on to B.
Yeah, 3-piece for the Vice for Illini. Great job on their part holding down that fort on C site. And that's something that they've been doing consistently, is they're posted up waiting to see this entry in from C main. And it's come time and time again for the Terps. They were able to get away with it and get site control 2 times, but this time it's a different story, and that's all it's going to take to throw the Terps economy way off guard. And they are cutting down on their lead a little bit, and they got to start to kind of think about more strategically how they're going to avoid running into problems with that Vice on that C site.
Yeah, it's a good idea that Moose is just going to go ahead and save this gun for this round. Illini was ready to go. They were already like halfway down our CT trying to find Moose. They already had bomb there, so I don't think there was much to do. So it was a good economy choice. Just go ahead and save that gun for that round.
For sure, yeah, that's probably going to be a hero vandal in this next round, because I don't think the Terps economy looking too bright after losing the last 2 rounds. And they've really got to get back in their momentum here. C-Site posed problems for them for the first time. Are they going to choose to go somewhere else? For some reason, I haven't really seen a full-on A hit, and I think that would be fun for them to try out.
Most definitely, but it looks like we're going for some sheriff picks so far, so hopefully this goes in through. We already have Moose going in with our fade util, as Cloud is just holding on behind here. But mind you, we don't have many guns happening right now, and the Viper on Illini's side already took off Yex's.
And the A execute that I was hoping for did come into order, but it's met with a Viper wall, which makes things very difficult for the Terps. So they're kind of forced to be a little bit more passive and actually wait for this C scale to come into order here. And yeah, so this positioning onto the C site might be good, but this Vice is still here. This Vice has been very patient, is just waiting for a peek to come through. ZK1 is gonna swing, and he will get killed, unfortunately. And now it's a 1v1 here on the site with Moose and a classic and a dream. It's too tall of an ask for the Terps this round as they're forced in a very uphill battle here at 2v5.
Just an unfortunate play, unfortunately. But honestly, I think the best thing to do now is just get as much picks as you can. With the guns we have right now, I think it's determined that the Terps are gonna have to give this round to Illini. But oh, maybe not. Cloud was getting a little aggressive there, but this Viper is out for blood. Wow, already a 3-piece from that Viper on Illini's side, but honestly, I think that's okay. We're gonna go ahead and get our economy up since that was a little bit of a save round for us. It may not be the best, but we all have heavy guns so far, so I think it's okay.
And the playing field is leveled in terms of the score. We are at 3 apiece, ultimates slightly favoring Illini's side. So that is certainly in their back pocket in case the round is going south for them. But the Terps, you know, gotta get back in stride here, and how will they do it? A site hasn't worked. C site's been an issue because of the Vice. Is their only choice B? B is the hardest site to post plant in my opinion, so I don't know if that's a great option for them either. And you know, they're met with a smoke off rip. It's gonna force them here to make a really strategic decision, and this is the time that the IGL's gotta step up.
Oh no, most definitely. There's so many smokes already happening here, and Cloud's just gonna go ahead and retreat from there. But we already have somebody on Illini just, wow, trying to creep up. But Cloud stopped it with no hesitation.
All right, a lot of utility invested onto this B site so far. Moose does get picked, so that takes a lot of flashes out of play as it stands right now. ZK1's been really consistent trying to scale up this C site, and he's met again in the same fight with this Vice. Will he come out on top this time is probably the difference maker for the Terps. And now with a smoke right in his face, it's gonna probably force him to back up a little bit. And actually this Vice has taken a bit more of a conservative angle there, and the Illini defensive side as a whole waiting for the Terps to make the first move, and they certainly will with ZK1's Yoru ultimate clearing the C site completely. Illini is just waiting for a post plant to go their way, and now ZK1 knows that's gonna throw Yoru blind. TP out, finds a pick and tries to hunt for another one, gonna use all that utility in his favor to give the Terps the edge there, and looks like another round win here.
Finally, ZK1 gets to use his Yoru potential. I've been waiting for this one. He's been on C-Site for how long? And oh my goodness, this Raze is gonna go ahead and get a pick on Cloud, but honestly, Cloud was like one shot anyway, unfortunately. But good play by ZK1, and I was really expecting Illini to take that site down, because again, that Vice just holds it down like no joke. Like every time. I think we can't use that again, but here's another replay on ZK1's play here. He goes ahead, gets out of his ult, throws in that blind, gets the Vise, and then gets the Omen right after by throwing another blind. Caught him lacking just a little bit, but now that we see that potential from ZK1, I think he needs to start playing with his team more, which is what it's looking like so far on A, so it's looking pretty aggro so far.
And with 5 ultimates on the Illini side, you kind of have no choice but to be aggro and try and, you know, take some of those ultimates down before they come back to bite you in the post plant. Looks like they're posting up here. A main met with so much Viper utility and actually an aggressive fade angle. But like you said, every one of the Terps right now is playing it together. Kind of for the first time so far this match, the Raze ultimate's gonna come out for Illini, but the Terps respond, finding 2 picks and maintaining their life here on this A site for the most part. And Yex is just hunting to take some more space, and he will do it along with Sin. And it's another beautiful round for the Terps. They didn't even get on site. They didn't need to. They just found the picks first.
I honestly just blinked and everybody in Illini was already down. This Vise though has no mercy. He's gonna go ahead and get a pick on Yex, but Moose is already expecting where this Vise is gonna be coming out of, but this Vise doesn't know quite where the Terps are hiding. They're not quite sure if they're sitting on site still, but you might encounter a little bit from Moose. Gets a pick on Moose, but good thing that Sin was there to save the round.
Yeah, you always gotta hold your breath a little bit when you're in a clutch scenario and that one player alive starts, you know, ticking, like dwindling down those numbers. You gotta be worried, but the Terps handled it well, not letting things get too out of hand. And now they're in a great place looking at their economy.
Yeah, it's looking much better here. It looks like they swapped sides just a little bit when it comes to economy over here with Illini. It looks like they're going to have like a Stinger and a Sheriff play, but then mix it up with some Guardians and a Vandal and a Phantom and Light Shields with the Dream. So they got to play a little passive here because now the economy is low-key on the line. Oh my goodness! Yex was able to get 2 picks with that nade. ZK1 following slowly after, but it doesn't matter. Our numbers are still looking good even if Moose got pushed down.
Just another great example from the Terps of how they can win the round without even planting the bomb. As long as they're getting their early round picks off of Illini's aggression, it's going to go in their favor. And when Yex is using his utility like that to find 2 picks off a rip, it's very hard for Illini to respond after that. But they will try here. Cloud shuts down one attempt with, you know, that Guardian looking at flank.
Yeah, I mean, we have this on lock here. That Vi stands no chance. Maybe they might be able to get 1 pick, but Cloud is holding it with this Guardian, and it's just... I'm nervous. Look at him. He's so locked in right now.
It will be ZK1 who is the one to finish the job there, but teamwork nonetheless. You know, you never want to peek an angle and see 3 faces staring back at you.
No, literally. But I honestly think... Hot take, I don't think that nade is going to work again, because I think Illini is going to be able to expect it this time. Especially with how aggressive we went ahead and started. But look, now our economy is, we have more to fall back on versus Illini. And, you know, even though they're able to buy some heavy shields and buy better guns, this is also on the line for them for their next economy. So our teams are looking pretty good. 3-6 on the scoreboard with Yex doing amazing 11-4 top fragging for us on the Terp side.
And it's this A-site aggression round after round coming from both sides. This time, Illini's going to be just a little bit more cautious, taking those early fights based on how it's gone for them in the last couple rounds. Meanwhile, Moose making himself known on this C side, scaling up, and it will be a Vice versus Vice if they do come into contact there. But meanwhile, the rest of his team happily, you know, chilling outside of this A site, and don't think they liked what they saw too much with a couple smokes in their faces, and they're gonna go and check out what Moose is doing over on C Mound, and they're just gonna have to deal with this Vice again, who's been a problem round after round.
Yeah, no, the Vice lives in C, but honestly, at least Cloud is here to just hang out and be able to smoke them off if he can, but it's looking very patient on the Illini side. They're not trying to push. The Terps are kind of just running back and forth between CT to see what is the best move, but honestly, I think it's a good play that Cloud is just hanging out on A, because I don't think this Viper is gonna notice that Cloud is just literally twiddling his thumbs, just walking up A main. Little do they know, because the rest of the Terps are literally falling right behind, and the Illini is kind of spread out too. So either way, we got to go ahead and lock in as Yex is going to go ahead and throw in that ult, and we have another Fade ult pushing in at the same time, and we were able to get a pick there. Our numbers are the same. We are 4-4 and going ahead to plant that spike, but it's looking a little crazy here on A site.
Bomb planted in time. It's up to the Terps here to hold down the fort, and they're gonna have to work against a Vice ultimate on this site, and Moose is going to get picked, and it's a very tense situation here in Tree as each side able to get a pick in their favor, but they were neglecting the bomb, and the bomb was defused.
Unfortunate play. I honestly don't really know what went wrong on that site. I mean, I think it was just a little unfortunate that Sin was alone in Tree, because there was like 4 different people ready to peek Tree. But with that replay here, look at how it was a perfect execution on the site, but I just can't tell what went wrong. But honestly, as long as Yex got a pick with that ult, we're doing a-okay. We are still doing good. We're 4-6 so far. Sin's kind of getting antsy with that Odin and a full shield. So look at this wall bang galore. I'm excited.
Yeah, Odin spam to start off, and a Viper pit thrown down off B. I'm surprised that this pit was positioned on the B site, because that's not somewhere where the Terps have been targeting, but now that the pit is there, they kind of look a little curious as to what's in there. So curious that they're going to invest CK1's Yoru ultimate to sniff out where this Viper is.
The Viper was having so much fun in there. We're jumping around with the charge. I'm so sorry, guys.
Yeah, it's just an absolute bloodbath there on B site surrounding that Viper pit. And now the playing field is leveled at 2 apiece. Yex waiting for a peek to come his way. He will get it, but at the cost of a lot of HP.
And here we are with this fade again, just left alone, but it looks like the Terps are just holding hands, running down to C to go ahead and put that plant down. And I'm sure that this fade already knows that that's the plan. I mean, halfway across the map, you're going to expect them to go rotate all the way on the other side of the world, but we already have plant down, and we're good to go. We're just going to go ahead and wait for the fade to go ahead and go in through the side of C, but little do the Terps know that they're just watching CT together. They kind of need to split up.
They might get ninja diffused there if they're not careful, but I think they'll hear the diffuse come through, or the oh wow, it's down to a 1v1 actually. This might be a hard ask for the Terps. Yex only down to 30 HP. It's gonna have to play this bomb really strategically, and he will do exactly that to buy him 4 kills for that round.
Great 4-piece by Yex that round, and honestly, I need to take a deep breath. Can we go back to the Viper, guys?
Oh, the Viper pit? Yeah.
Can we go back to the Viper pit for just a second? But nonetheless, we're doing A-okay here. The Terps got that round. That's all that matters. We're 4-7. And the Odin pick was honestly a really good pick by Sind, and I'm glad that it ended up working out in their favor, but our economies are kind of looking pretty similar on both Illini and Terps' side, so it looks like they're going to go back to what they know and go ahead and just hold down C, but this time, nobody on Illini's side is on C, so I'm a little skeptical about this push.
Yeah, this could be a really excellent read from the Terps if they do decide to execute on the C site quickly, because their window of opportunity here is dwindling as soon as the Illini defense is able to position themselves. Moose taking an early fight on the Vice, and that's a crucial pick to get early in this round. They know C site's got to be open at this point because their C player is picked off early, and that's going to lead to a full util rollout here onto this site. Cloud, ZK1 both doing their part here to get a good hold on their ground. ZK1's being really aggressive, not going to go in his favor though, but nonetheless, I think his team should have this one in the bag.
Yeah, Illini already has 2 people left, but unfortunately this Viper only having a classic and a dream, but bomb is planted, and here we are again with this fade, just left to 1v4 the rest of the Terps here, and here we are, we have Sin holding down with that Odin, and hasn't let it go since the last round.
And it's been smooth sailing once again for the Terps. They looked a little bit rocky at times, like when the middle of their attack half. But now that we have flipped sides, it's going to be important to see how they're able to, get a hold of this defense. They played their attack, a bit conservatively. They weren't pushing like super quickly all the time. Most of the rounds, I feel like they were trying to get some information first. And I wonder if it's going to be the same MO here on the defense.
I actually didn't realize that was the last round before the half. So Sin choosing the Odin yet again, you might as well go big and go home.
Right.
And it looks like we're going to take it home so far. So 4-8, we're at a pretty good half round. And honestly, I think Illini is going to take the same play as the Terps did when they were on the attack side.
Yeah, it's a 3-2 split favoring this A site, and they are met with just a lot of utility there, and actually a lot of players pushing up on the other side of the smoke if they do choose to push that Omen smoke, which would be a bold decision. So it doesn't look like that is in the cards for Illini, and instead they are going to be just kind of passive here. They're going to see what the Terps do before committing anywhere. They do have a Viper wall to work with. And yeah, they do have like an orb as well for them on this A site, and knowing that, I think they're going to continue to favor this A site, pushing Yex out of position, forcing him to back up on this site. And it's pistols here, so no one should really have a great gun advantage. So this is really anybody's round so far.
Yeah, Sen was already found with that Fade dog, so either way they could go A or B and take that site in with no joke. But Yex was already get a kill along with ZK1. Yex gets a second one. Unfortunately, Cloud falls in the process of it, but here we are with this Vise left over on Illini's side. But nonetheless, the Terps were able to take it home, leaving us at 4-9 for this round. And I think it's just smooth sailing from here.
Yeah, that's
honestly.
how you start a pistol round. You know, that's how you come off of being ahead on your attack and setting the precedent for how the defense is going to go. They held on to that A site and they didn't quickly rotate because there was a point, I think Illini kind of cut noise for a sec. They were making a decision whether they should push through that omen smoke, but the Terps did a really good job at holding their ground nonetheless and saying, hey, they didn't really fake rotate here, but they could just be cutting noise for a second. Let's stay here and wait for this push to come through after they re-engage that Viper wall.
Oh no, most definitely. But did we see that loadout? Everybody on Illini's side got some stingers, so I'm expecting a very fast and quick push. Like I said, they're already on to B site, and they're gonna go ahead and start trying to get that plant down. But unfortunately, we lost Yex in the mix. We already have a Bucky play, and the rest of it being stingers is a lot. But Cloud gave them a taste of their own medicine, was able to get a pick, but unfortunately gets picked off by that fade yet again, and the Terps are falling. We are already 3-2, and here we are. We have ZK1 with that outlaw. We saw this first time we did our pistol round, and he's not playing today. He's really trying to get aggro with this outlaw because it's one shot.
Oh, picks up the Vandal actually, which could help him out a lot, and that's exactly what it does as he's hunting for two, but will not quite find it. Moment of, you know, potential for the Terps there. Illini, though, doing a good job of shutting that potential comeback in its tracks. And yeah, so the Terps lost another defensive round. They don't want to get into the same pattern of, you know, win one, lose one, which they kind of found themselves in a little bit in the last half. And especially with the economy looking the way it is, they want to continue the strong start that they look to have in round number 1.
Yeah, so now I just want to know, is it just going to be an A push now? I mean, it looks like it's the same Viper lineup from the last time, and I'm sure that this Viper is going to throw that same orb, and it worked in their favor during the pistol round, so I could only imagine how it's going to work for them now that they have guns. Wow.
Oh, Moose, that is a hard fight to take with a Phantom on the other side of things, and Illini just has all the space in the world here on this A site. Terps gonna have to be really crafty here with a retake with just classics, pistols in hand. Honestly, this round for the Terps is about taking as many down with you as you can, taking as many guns out of the hands of Illini if you want to make things a little bit easier for yourself in the next coming rounds. But they know this is going to be a loss. They're just saving here, looking for exit picks.
Oh yeah, they're just trying to play it smart here, because either way, what are you really supposed to do? You could jump at them and right click them, but not when they're holding a Vandal in hand. But either way, everybody's posted up here. Everybody's just watching their angles, jump spotting. We got Cloud and Yex just messing around here, because honestly, what more is there to do? This is the smartest option for the Terps here, because Illini is starting to catch up already with 5-9 so far, but once that door breaks, oh brother, it's cooked. Oh my gosh, Cloud was able to get a pick on one, but unfortunately it didn't work out in their favor.
It's a deadly right click, I tell you, but not enough to take down all of Illini. And you know, Illini's creeping back in this thing. You know, it's not over till it's over. The scoreline not looking too dire for them. They could certainly come back if they have a really strong sided attack here. And the Terps, you know, did not have a good buy last round, so hopefully this round, now with those like ideal weapons in hand, they can kind of mitigate things better.
Yeah, so now that that's happening, now that it's an evil like level playing field for the Terps now, I think they're finally going to be just a little aggressive now that the round's going to go ahead and start. But it looks like they're going to default just a bit. Bomb's just going to go ahead and start moving towards C. We're going to follow this Viper and this Omen onto C, but all we have is Cloud just hanging on, and they already got some damage off of Cloud just by holding.
Oh, but Cloud is out for blood, throws the paranoia, peeks the angles, not gonna find any contact off of it though. Illini's gonna double back here on what looked like would be the C site, but actually now it looks like it's gonna be an A push because they know that Viper wall is working for them, and it's gonna be a tall task here for Sin to try and slow down this push. He has Yex to work with here, holding the off angle on top. Meanwhile, a 1v1 goes down on C side, and ZK1 getting a pick when it matters the most. And Yex gonna throw his Roomba one way and peek the same way. Sin and Yex both getting overwhelmed there on that A site. It's gonna have to be a retake here unless Cloud can do the impossible here and stop this bomb from being planted.
But not to fret, we already have ZK1 here. Oh, I lied. I guess ZK1 was not able to help Cloud out.
Oh, Cloud though, doing a good job here on this site.
But unfortunately, now this Viper Wall is really doing Illini very well. Cloud is already getting decayed with this wall being up, but he's playing a little bit of ring around the Rosie as Moose starts to sneak up on Illini, trying to get a pick, but unfortunately Cloud gets wall banked on that corner. Will Moose be able to get this last pick on Fade? Can he get it? Ooh.
Just 14 HP and a bomb to defuse. Gonna throw a flash into tree. Waiting to pop that flash when the time is right. Swings first and does get picked, but it was a close round for a second, and even when it looked like it wasn't going to be a good start for the Terps.
I really like how Yex was holding on that off angle, because honestly with that wall, and if you're just hanging down, watching down A main, you can't see anything, especially with that Viper Orb being down. But I think that Illini is going to have to start switching up that Viper Wall, maybe to another site, or maybe differently on A site, maybe to favor them on tree. But I think the Terps are already trying to work a way around it, and I think it's starting to work. That was just a test trial last round, so now they gotta lock in and do something different. So it looks like the Illini is gonna go ahead and push down to C. We have Moose holding down C all by himself, but like I said, guys, he's got this site on lock. I just hope it goes the way that he wants it to, but he has a Sheriff and a Dream, and so does ZK1 as well, but he's on the way to go ahead and start helping out Moose just a little bit, while we have two of the Terps just waiting to get picked off by Illini's Viper, a 3 pick already.
Just so much damage done to the side of the Terps by that Viper. It's almost in a place where they can't come back, but the round is not over till it's over. The Terps are really spread out on opposite sides of this A side of the map. ZK1 left in a solo fight, gonna take down one with him, but it's all up to Moose, who's gonna creep on that flank. I think his position still unknown. Oh, never mind. Soon is gonna be known by Illini, and they are just gonna put all their effort there into taking down Moose, but he will not go down without a fight as he lands a really clean shot on the fade. But that's all it will be this round, and Illini is only just one round away from tying this thing up.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. The Terps are Deagle Demons. If it's one thing about the Terps, we are Deagle Demons. We do have a timeout starting, called by our coach here for the Terps Esports. I think we finally met our match with that Viper. That Viper is actually doing really well. So is their Vise, especially with holding down sites. But now that we finally switched sides, that Viper is just able to just click and go. Honestly, click and go, and it really affects us. I'm not over that Vise wall going down and us getting like 3 down in like 2 seconds. Like, what happened? What happened?
And in this timeout, it's a good time to mention, if Napaso is a familiar name, you are not wrong. Napaso was a member of the co-ed premier roster last semester, and he had a great run as a player, but with NJV graduating and no longer holding the coach position, Napaso has stepped up here as the co-ed premier's coach. And just to introduce Napaso a little bit more, his real name is Arjun, if you're unaware, and he has been a member of, this Terps team for a while. His heart is in this team, his heart is in this roster, and I know he's given some good words of wisdom to his Terps.
Oh no, we are led with great hands, and as he's a veteran, I'm sure we're going to do fine. Now that this timeout is over, Yex and ZK1 are doing really good, already having double digits on the leaderboard right now, but we're at neck and neck, basically. But I'm really glad Moose is still holding down Vise.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
What a shot from ZK1. He's not able to escape it with the Yoru TP, but nonetheless, we saw it, and it was pretty epic. But how will the Terps follow up on that momentum? It's going to be a Fade ultimate used for Sin, but Moose getting picked, gonna make things look a little bit dire for the Terps as they decide to post up on this B site and potentially retake as Cloud gets one off the flank. But with the Viper Pit used, it's gonna be really difficult. It's an uphill battle here for the Terps. They're gonna have to use every bit of utility to sniff out players' positioning in the face of this Viper Pit. So we see those Fade Dogs come through, we see the Paranoia come through for Cloud, but it looks like the Terps might even be considering saving if things start to not look so great.
No, yeah, we have Cloud just trying to creep up as much as he can, playing around in the smoke to get a pick. If it's one thing, a Viper ult on C-site is hard to get round, but we have a Omen v Omen fight here, and unfortunately, Frog Lady 81 is going to take it home for Illini on this round.
And yeah, here we are, 9-9. In terms of the ultimates, we're looking even, and in terms of economy, not so much, but nonetheless, we have a game on our hands here, and I hope everyone is at the edge of their seats to see how map number 1 concludes here in this best of 3.
Yeah, and now I'm starting to see how ZK1 plays as a duelist. It's a lot of outlaws, it's a lot of ops, a lot of mind trickery-esque things. But we're going to go ahead and push in onto A site. Illini again with that same Viper wall. Frog Lady going crazy. 3 picks on the Terps. We're already down to 2 Terps left, and they still have to rotate onto A, as the Illini's just going to go ahead, waltz on their way through onto A, and just plant that, maybe not plant that spike yet. Now that they're planting, they're already holding their angles and they're expecting the Terps.
CK1 just trying to get a shot with that Sheriff, has to dodge a lot of this utility here being thrown at him. Fade Dog, Omen Blind, the whole 9, and it's going to be enough to overwhelm the Moose and ZK1. And Illini has taken the lead for the first time here on this map.
Honestly, I think that's what we just expected. Illini's just starting to get their momentum up. I mean, they're with that Viper ult and that Viper wall, it's just rinse and repeat, but with different executions, if that makes sense, and it's working for them. That's the thing, it's working. So I'm really hoping that ZK1's going to be able to hold down A, or yeah, well, B more so, and just see if he can at least get another pick the same way he did last round. But it's looking like Illini's going to go strong and ambush him.
Yeah, and Illini just kind of creeping up in the face of that operator. That's 2 in a row for ZK1, showing off his operator skills there. This time he manages to stay alive though, and keep a hold of that operator for later in the round. Moose and Frog Lady 81 made contact there, and now they're gonna try to really run down Moose here, knowing his position. I think he's managed to get away relatively unharmed, and ZK1 again with that operator holding down the C site as the rest of his teammates falling there on B. And right now, Illini kind of at a position where they've never been in. They haven't been able to plant this bomb yet. They don't feel comfortable doing it on either of these sites, even though they're positioned there. They don't have confidence in their numbers right now to put the Terps in a retake. And look how spread out the Terps are all across this map. They're waiting for any information here before grouping up.
Yeah, we have the Viper just hanging out on B side along with the Fade on B, so they're not quite sure. They're a little scared and hesitant to go ahead and stick that plant because they already know that the Terps are going to be able to ambush them from every which corner here. But the Vise is just still holding on to C. Little do they know.
Yex and Moose together, trying to work together. But it's going to be that Viper who's caused so many issues, just going to continue to do so. Time is ticking down for Illini. Only 10 seconds here to get this bomb planted. Looks like they're looking towards A site, and it's going to look even more appealing with Cloud getting picked off. And ZK1's got to run with an operator in hand, peeks this angle, and loses the operator at the worst time here as we're getting close to the conclusion of map number 1.
Unfortunate play from ZK1, losing that operator. He's gonna go ahead and switch to a judge, maybe? I don't know, but it was better that he went ahead and TP'd out the first pick he got, because, you know, you don't want to get too greedy, especially if you have an op. And I think where he was sitting on B side was a little too tight for him to, you know, play with an op. But what more are you supposed to do when you have a Viper wall on A and C is already confined as much as it is? But either way, the Terps are going to have to lock in on this round as Illini's just going in strong, and it's looking like a really rough C play here.
A lot of aggression outside mound. Yex able to take 2 with a Guardian, and he has Spike down with him. That is huge for the Terps right now. They're going to crowd around this spike and really close down this mound area. Watch all angles, watch the flank. Right now, Illini grouped up here on this A site where only Moose is for the side of the Terps, but they do not have spike control, and they're going to have to really fight for it. Looks like they're trying to wrap around the whole map, potentially go through our own spawn to go on the other side of C site in order to regain control of the spike, but they're going to have to go through Moose first, and Moose does get a pick with that Sheriff. Unfortunately, unfortunately does get killed shortly after there. And now that the Illini has regained control of that spike, they are going to plant on this A site. And it's going to be a numbers up retake for the Terps. And Yex is still alive with that Vandal, so anything is possible here.
We got a Yex face cam here. Look at how locked in we are here. Cloud's gonna go ahead and go through tree as we already lose sight of Sin and Yex here. Look at him. Cloud is locked in, but he has sight of that bomb, but just doesn't quite know where the last two people in Illini are hanging out. So he's gonna go ahead and smoke himself off, but all Illini has to do is just spray through that smoke. But oof, unfortunate here. Frog Lady went ahead and got 3 picks that round. And I think in the middle of that, Frog Lady went ahead and TP'd to pick up that spike from C and then just caught Moose off guard with the Sheriff. But like I said, Deagle Demons, he was able to get a pick there, but unfortunately it just wasn't in our favor. We have another timeout started by Coach Opaso. What can we do this time? What different can we do for these last few rounds?
See, it's hard because I feel like Illini is like flipping through their playbook and they're cooking up something different kind of every time. It just doesn't look like they're like sticking with one MO and running with it. They're really good at responding to changes and responding to what the Terps are doing. So in terms of what the Terps can do, it's kind of difficult other than, you know, do the basics, get your early picks, you know, don't give up sight unless you have a retake plan. And it also, Illini has not really tried to push or plant on this B site too much, so that may be something that the Terps keep in mind for the future, is maybe focus more on A or C. But other than that, like, Illini's putting up like a really good performance, and it's hard right now to think of things that, you know, the Terps can work around.
No, stakes are pretty high right now. Everybody's trying to lock back in, but honestly, I'm very surprised that their smokes are performing very well. Their Viper, their Omen, Frog Lady 81 is just back to back every round, 3 to 4 picks, 2 to 3 picks, and it's crazy to see. And the Viper still hasn't let go of that same wall lineup. I think the Terps should have just expected that, but we're already 12-9, so either way, we just gotta keep it going.
Oh, ZK1 starting off this crucial round right with an operator kill. But will the round unfold for the Terps? Well, here we're going to have to see. It looks like they actually are looking towards B-side because there is a push coming their way. ZK1 being one of those Terps holding down B, and it works out beautifully for them. And they have found themselves in a good position here. They don't have a control of the C site, which is where the bomb is planted. But I like their approach in getting numbers up before having to confront this retake. And ZK1 still has that operator in hand. He has all of his teammates alive with him, 3 of which are going to go through door here. A very, very risky play, and the alarm bells are sounding for Illini as a trade comes through either side, and ZK1 is having a great round, and it's going to be a 4-piece for him, and that is going to be enough for the Terps to stay alive here on Lotus.
Honestly, that was ZK1 must have been mad. He was mad. The right clicks, the op. That was a bold choice to go ahead and still pick an op, but he didn't get greedy this time. He took his time, backed up just a little bit, and, you know, we were able to get some pretty decent picks out of that play.
And now the Terps have to work off of that momentum that they've built. They're going to do so by coming in swinging here. And that was a replay, guys, so don't worry. Everything's fine.
No, but that's literally going to happen right now.
They're going to come in swinging. They're going to come in swinging for sure.
ZK1 with that op again.
Look, what Yex just did on that mound, he's going to do again here into A. And meanwhile, ZK1 holding a very scary angle will pay the price for it. And now that's going to kind of throw a wrench here in the Terps' plans.
Yeah, it unfortunately caught up to ZK1, but now that Cloud got that pick, just going to go ahead and TP back out and just, I don't know, guys. Illini has this on lock. They're just starting to walk up slowly. Hopefully Yex gets that pick, and yes, he does. Frog Lady is down.
And that's finally a huge player down for Illini, and good job for Yex getting that pick. But now the Terps have got to respond here for this egg execute, and Illini does have a Fade ultimate to work here. Won't be surprised if we see that be used once this retake is in order, and it will be the Terps that use their Fade ultimate. Yax getting picked off, Sind soon to follow. It's all up to Moose and Cloud here to work together on this A site. Viper Pit is down, Moose gets picked. Come on, Cloud, your team needs you in this setting. It's a clutch scenario. He's got to creep through this Viper Pit as stealthily as possible. Meanwhile, Illini playing mostly off-site outside of this pit. Very smart for them. Cloud's gonna take that first swing and does get killed, unfortunately. So map number 1 goes to Illini, and they definitely deserved it the way that they played.
No, they most definitely have proved themselves throughout the game. Machuchu train on Viper was just going off. We got Frog Lady going off as their smokes. I'm wondering how they're going to play, who they're going to play next game. But honestly, the Terps are going to have to pick it up just a little bit. I'm sure ZK1 is great on any duelist, on, anywhere they put him, because he is the team's flex player for tonight. But either way, it's going to be a really interesting night. Stay on the edge of your seat, guys.
Yeah, for sure. So we're going to cut to just a quick commercial break, but be sure to catch us for map number 2 right after.
My name is Subin Kim, my in-game name is Carrots, and I'm the controller of this team.
My name is Hannah, my IGN is Tuxedo Sam, and I play Sentinel for the team.
My name is Sima, my in-game name is Care Bear, and I'm a flex.
My name is Megan, my IGN is Giraffe, and I'm an initiator.
My name is Sophia, my IGN is Soap, and I'm an initiator.
Hi everyone, I'm Ayush, my in-game name is Dulcexo, and I'm the coach.
For me, I think it was just really interesting to see our names on social media and on a website. I'm just like, whoa, my name is on a website but so I think that was the number one thing that kind of just it brought the realization of what kind of team I'm in, what kind of position I'm in.
Meeting them. It's hard to make a woman and non-binary friends in Valorant, so it's just really nice that we have a team specifically for that.
The studio.
Yeah.
Oh, the studio.
The
oh,
studio.
I didn't even know that existed. I didn't know that existed until remember when I first when we first talked about the studio, I was like, what's that? When I first went to the room, I was like, oh, there's cameras and lighting. I'm just like, that's
Nice computer.
Nice computer.
So
true.
Winning.
Yeah, winning.
Oh, so true. W winning.
Getting that.
Yeah, that.
Yeah, I feel
That
like
was pretty cool.
Plastic.
Hey. I would say supportive is definitely Dusty and Rachel. Those two, just making sure we had scrims down, making sure we had practice schedules down. Dusty making sure to pick out what we did wrong, just helping us improve. I think definitely.
Yeah, Dusty's a very present coach, so
very.
It's he's really reliable and helped us through the whole season.
Thanks, team.
Yeah, you'd even schedule things for us,
organize all those schedules.
Help us map bands and
Stats,
talk to them if realize if one of them was unranked or something. Breaking a rule. Making teams forfeit.
Maybe we don't talk about that last part.
I would also say our fans in chat, on stream.
True.
It was nice knowing
W
people
chat.
watching us.
And the haters.
Oh yeah.
Improve in the higher division.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is definitely more challenging because we're in a higher division now. But I think we could with our coordination, I definitely think we could. We need to bring home another one of these.
It feels great.
Yeah.
You guys know this is the first title that Terps Esports has won.
Wait, seriously?
And by women.
Yeah.
Oh, seriously? Oh,
First time.
cool.
I like playing Valorant.
have an excuse to play games.
That's true. That's good.
For me, I joined because, well, like I've always wanted to be on a women's team, especially like since I got to UMD, and me and Dusty had always like tried to make teams work every semester, and this was the first time it actually did work and stuck, and the people who tried out like were committed. So I guess I've always just wanted to be on a women's team to like connect more to that community.
To make friends.
So I had that gap, without a team for a while, and then I saw the form, and I was like, I really want to try this. This sounds fun. And then, yeah, I play Valorant too much. First of all, I did not imagine me being IGL when I first started, because I am, outside of my Lilac team, I am known as the no-brain, only aim chamber in comp. So I did not imagine myself being IGL. But I think it's if there were some difficulties in the beginning, because no one, I wasn't used to giving out comms. I was just very confused. But I think now it's just the amount of trust that my teammates give me when I give out comms, and the amount of coordination that we have. I just love being IGLing, because I trust that things will work out.
And I think by the end of the season, now we play together, everyone kind of jokes around a little bit more and kind of shines their natural ray. We're excited just to see them play better as well.
With the middle school program, the best part has been seeing the moments of teamwork where the middle schoolers really seem to get the game, and so that's when you can see they're starting to get a little bit hooked on how esports can be so fun.
Walk game, or will Red turn things around?
Terp Adventures take flight at STAM. Host to countless Maryland events, programs, performances, and more. Feed your body, feed your mind, feed your soul. Let your talents soar. Dance, sing, perform. Find your thing. Join more than 800 student organizations and clubs. Find community here. Leadership lives here. Art thrives here. With space to grow. We're all just kids at heart. Let your imagination fly. Compete, play, with wings on our feet. Here your spirit can fly. Here your soul lifts up. Here you remember those who came before. This is STAM. This is the center for campus life, where Terp adventures take flight. You belong here. Come fly with us.
Hey everybody, welcome back. We're about to head on to map number 2, which will be Corrode. Love it or hate it, it's here.
I'm honestly Corrode, have not played it myself. I know a little bit of the map. I know a lot of people love the map, but I don't know. In a play like this, I don't know. I'm sure that the Terps have already went ahead and practiced on both sides, attack or defenders, but I just don't know. I just have to see it and observe how it'll go, because I heard a lot of talk about Corrode, and it's 50-50. It's just 50-50.
Hey, if you and a shotgun are like this, if you guys are close, you're gonna love Corrode, because boy, are there some corners on that map. You cannot push a site without having to clear at least 3 or 4 corners, and that is kind of the whole point of the map. They really just want to kind of test. They want to test what your they want to test your ability on the shotgun there. They want to test how you're able to respond with the shotgun, how you're able to use utility around it, how you can place those mollies, you can use those flashes to avoid it being a problem. And that is the whole point of Corrode, if I had to sum it, give the spark notes on it.
I was told on one of the sites there is a wall similar to the one that was in Lotus, but it's literally bangable. The whole wall where you would probably plant spike default or something is just wall bangable. So be careful, have fun. If you have played the map, but you haven't played the map, just know that it's very interesting. But I think, it shouldn't be too crazy for the Terps to be to struggle on, only because I did see ZK1 just running around with a shorty, but that's also when he has an op or an outlaw in hand. So I'm not quite sure how snipers or a guardian or a long range gun will work on Crow. Do you know if it'll work?
I think at mid there's definitely the opportunity for a lot of long range play, but other than that, the only other place I could see it being a factor is B site heaven, because you have a kind of really good view onto site from there on the defensive side of things. However, B site, like you said, is very wall bangable. You cannot plant the bomb in a spot where you're completely covered. It's very difficult. But in terms of agent pools, I'm excited to see what we pick here, because it is a new map. I think people are still kind of sniffing out what agents they prefer and what ones they don't. But I think this map has a lot of good sentinel ability. I've seen some really good Cypher plays on this map. I'm a KJ main, so I'm a little biased, but I think there's some good KJ opportunities here as well. So I think the world is kind of their oyster for both of these teams here.
Yeah, if that's the case, I better see. Oh, ZK1 on Chamber. I was gonna say I want Moose on a Cypher since you mentioned it, but we do have him on Vise again. I'm assuming. Nope, I'm a liar. But either way, I think we have good setups so far on both sides. Again, I was caught aback with ZK1 going Chamber, but since with that outlaw plays and that op plays, I think we should be okay. And he's just gonna whip out that pistol anyway and probably just smack people with it around those corners. So I think we should be fine.
I mean, he looks so comfortable on the operator onto Lotus, and now he has an operator built into his util kit along with one that he can purchase. So lots of long range, like you said. I think he's going to take lots of long range fights. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw ZK1 favor mid. We actually also have a Neon. I didn't catch. Was it Yex playing the Neon?
I don't. Probably. Most definitely has to be.
Oh, well, whoever it was, they are dead. So we will find out shortly. But meanwhile, the Terps starting off here on the defense, ZK1 already showing off his skills with that Sheriff in hand.
Yeah, Illini has a little bit of the same plays almost. I know we have Cloud comfortable on his Omen. We know Cloud loves playing his Omen, but Machuchu Train is still on that Viper play and gets picked out by Moose. Moose is actually on Viper this time, but we still got Frog Lady on Omen. Either way, it looks like the Terps are getting eaten up just a little bit on B side, and they're just Genetic is already on Jet as well. So I think this 2v2 should be an easy playing field considering that their Jet is very, very low.
And here's Cloud just creeping in from mid, waiting for his teammate there. And like you said, this Jett is low, so this is really doable for the Terps. They're going to have to duo swing. Their timing has to be perfect. And they're going to play the smoke to their advantage as Cloud does find the first pick. And it will be ZK1 who clocks the second. And it's a great start for the Terps, but specifically for ZK1 there, showing us what he can do on Chamber.
He's a very self-sufficient player, at least for with like, you know, he's probably like, anyway, he's a very self-sufficient player. He doesn't really need his team to support him, more so play with him. Let's get a little replay on that. You know, this Jett is very low, and they're going to go ahead and creep up. You know, ZK1's going to take a look behind him, just be, you know, very careful and just trade out, and it's very good. A good first round. Now, I just don't know what the play is with these guns now that we're on the second pistol round. I was expecting another outlaw play. Oh, here we go. ZK1 again with that outlaw play. But we do have stingers, which isn't different from what we saw last time on Illini's side. So I'm expecting something very fast.
Yeah, already with a long-range gun in hand. I'm excited to see where ZK1 plays. It looks like it's going to be aggressive outside this A site. Don't think he's going to quite see anyone, though, off rip. And we had a bit of a tech pause. I think we're great and out of it already. So glad things got squared away quickly there. And the Terps are able to post up a defense here, as it does look like for the Illini side, it's going to be a full-scale B hit. They're gonna throw down that Viper wall to help them and just kind of overwhelm Moose here. He's forced to throw some utility to just try and slow the Illini side down a little bit. It actually works out great for him, as he's not getting confronted at all right now. He's doing a really good job of holding this attack side behind the smoke.
No, Illini is literally just hanging out in front of B main here. Once that smoke dissipates, Moose is in big trouble, but they're trying to find a way to just kind of peek and make a little bit of noise and just see if anybody on the Terps side is going to get a little impatient. And Yex has a Bulldog here as a Neon, so you don't know if he's just going to go in there, slide and get a pick and just slide back out. But they're very, very strategic about this, both the Terps and Illini. But I don't know who's attacking who. It kind of looks like they're just hanging out.
Yeah, and Illini's got to be careful for this flank. Doesn't look like the Terps are too eager to take it yet, but could be in the cards for later. But for now, full-scale B-push. Moose being really patient behind that Viper wall as Yex does get killed. And now Moose will start to swing into action here, although he doesn't really get any picks going his way, and it's going to put his team in a way numbers down position. ZK1 responds with that outlaw, like you mentioned, and now he's here with Sind into mid. I don't think this is going to be a save. Looks like they're kind of gearing up to try and make this round go as well as it possibly can for them, as Moose does get that kill there into mid. It's going to buy him a lot of space here, and it's going to buy a big distraction for ZK1 to just creep up behind and look for a long-range fight there. And he's gonna look heaven. The timing was just wrong, but he had the right idea, and now that's left Sin with only 50 HP and a dream to work with a stinger in hand. Does a lot of damage to the Jett, but time is too far taken down, but he will manage to get both of these picks, putting him at a 4K. But again, time not on his side, and the Terps will lose that round.
That Jett was very jumpy, but that was no issue for Sin. He was able to just right-click it like it was nothing, with just a classic, by the way. If that was me, I probably would have ended reloading like my stinger and like dying in the moment, but no. He had that on lock. And what I really want to point out is that Moose is gonna try and counter that Viper by playing Viper himself, and I honestly think with last round, it was working. It was working really well. He had a good wall set up there and just hanging on in that little corner in hut on B site, just hoping to get some picks. And he did do some decent damage there, but it's a little reminiscent of B side on Ascent, if that's just me, but it's still looking pretty good. We are already able to get Sin down, unfortunately, by getting sprayed with a Bulldog here on Illini's side. Yex is just going to go ahead and start pushing back along with Moose, as Illini really wants to... There's something with B that they really want, and it seems like B is an easy site for them to push into, as they're very strategic on their ways of going in through, but hopefully ZK1's able to get this pick. Unfortunately, gets picked off by that fade yet again.
Oh, and ZK1 just again comes on the wrong end of timing there. Moose does not want any part of that fight. Gonna run away, regroup with his team to try and hold down support on that A site, which is where it looks like Illini is heading, and Moose doing a great job at keeping this A site under control and is being aggressive with that Sheriff, and eventually he does get killed, but Cloud and Yex right now are in decent positions here to respond, as they're posted up right next to each other, and they have some time on their hands to really cook up a sneaky flank, which looks like is going to be the game plan here for the Terps.
Yeah, well, unfortunately our numbers aren't looking so hot. We already only have 2 Terps while there's 4 people on a Illini side and an Omen ult on top of that, but they're holding it down. Looking at this map, there is no chance for our Terps, not unless maybe Yex could just neon swing in there and just spray that stinger, but I think they're just going to play exits here, but Illini's going the other way for exits.
Yeah, playing exits, not going to get any, but it's okay. The Terps have bigger fish to fry, and that is the next round. You got to always just look towards the next one. You know, you lost a round, do what's best for your economy, and go next is the motto. And that's exactly what the Terps are looking to do, with ZK1 pulling his chamber operator out already. Excited to see what the round has in store for us with that.
I'm just really curious with this Viper and Moose going against one another, just with these walls, because you know Viper walls can get very annoying on either side. If you're trying to push, if you're trying to rotate, because you can't pick that wall back up. It's there for like the rest of the round. So either way, you know, Moose put his in a way where it's able to cover him and prevent Illini from entering onto site. But this time Illini's gonna go down through mid, it looks like, and try and get a little bit of picks, but thankfully Yex was there to save the day and get a pick on that Viper, so there's no more wall hanging down from mid anymore, and this gives the Terps a big advantage. It's all just up to them to just make sure that it doesn't progress any further from this, and it prevents them from pushing further.
Yes, gets a good pick there with the Phantom, and is still trying to hold down mid, although the Sheriff responds, taking down both him and Sid, but the Chamber Operator fully into play here, and it has actually leveled the playing field for the Terps. 2v2, the Terps do not have spike control, so the ball is on the attacks court right now, and it does look like the Illini side's going to be really aggressive, actually, and there's going to ZK1's going to catch that fade lacking and get control of the bomb. And now there's a potential here for the Terps to sandwich this Vice here for the Illini side. You know, they have good positioning on either side of them. They could pinch if they really wanted to.
Yeah, it looks like ZK1's trying to play it smart by pushing farther back so that the Vice doesn't expect him to just be hanging around that corner, but little does he know he's gonna start walking up. Hope ZK1 doesn't get blinded, but unfortunately gets picked off by that Vice, leaving that Vice with 3 picks for the round. Hopefully Moose is able to just pick it up and just get it done like nothing ever happened, which honestly I was doubting ZK1 just a little bit from that chamber ult, because even though it was good for our economy, he could just get that ult back up again. I was a little hesitant about it, but honestly it worked out just fine. Look at this crazy replay here. We had Moose to save the day, to go ahead and get that Vice just out of the picture.
And now ZK1 can repurchase an operator, you know, without having to buy one in the previous round thanks to his ultimate. Now he has another go at things, and it does look like the attack's going to favor this A site, which is actually where ZK1 is posted up. Does get a fade dog there, so he's going to have to hop off his angle, reposition, and wait for push to come his way, which it will. He TP's out to safety and has to get caught in this Vice ultimate. And all the ultimates are coming out for Illini right now. The jet knives come out, look towards ZK1. He manages to dodge them, but still, Illini's looking very confident here on this A site, and the Terps already know from the looks of things that they have to retake, knowing that they're going to use this Vice ultimate, but it's the Omen who takes down Cloud and Yex. Bomb planted, things are looking quite dire here for the Terps, as now it's kind of the calm before the storm, before this retake goes into full swing here. Once the smoke dissipates, all the cards will be on the table, and Sin just trying to get a lucky pick there, spraying. Moose gets picked off, Sin at low HP. It's gonna be a save here.
Almost definitely. Look at how bunched up Illini is on A site. I mean, you have a straggler trying to chase after Sin, which I'm a little scared if they're gonna meet in just a little bit. Oh, I don't know if Sin's trying to play exits for here, but I don't know. He's gonna meet this Vise in just a second, gets that pick. Thankfully, you know, that's the most that you could do is kind of just play exits and get picks. And if not,
keep your gun.
Keep your gun.
Yeah. That's a rough gun to let up, but thankfully ZK1 able to hold on to that operator, so at least there's that silver lining there. And yeah, the Terps got to get back in this thing. You know, they're already found themselves in a deficit, and they have to respond early here because we saw how as soon as Illini got a lead there on map number 1, things kind of got away from the Terps very quickly.
Yeah, I think it's gonna soon enough in the game. I think ZK1's gonna have to stop being an op crutch just for a little bit. I don't know how it is with their economy. Again, he is a very self-sufficient player, doesn't need anybody to help him out, but I think for the sake of the game, it's too early to just be whipping out these ops. And as much as it was helping them, you know, the most he could do is just TP away and hope that he doesn't lose that op. We're gonna go ahead and get a fade ult and a jet dash right onto site from Illini's side, and it's getting very aggressive here. ZK1 was able to get an amazing pick with his op here, but they're already starting to plant and they're smoked off at the same time, and Moose is over here to just supplement that with a Marshall, but unfortunately we lose that op thanks to Frog Lady here just going crazy. But let's see if Moose is able to make up for ZK1, and he is. Good thing that jet is finally out of the equation, but here is Cloud with just a classic and unfortunately gets picked off by that fade again, but Sin picks up that op and it's no worries. But here goes Yex doing a wow, unfortunately gets picked off by the Vise in the face, unfortunately.
All right, 1v2 here, and does not look like the Terps want any part of this fight. Just gonna let that bomb explode and move on to the next round. Economy should be looking better in this next round. Most of their players did not buy up in that previous round, so hopefully we get some ultimates online, we get our economy right, and we can get back into this game, yeah, with a full buy in order now.
I think Illini's very, very familiar with this map already. I'm only saying this based of how they're playing so far. They're very, very confident on pushing from A, and they're okay with just switching back, going through mid, getting picks, and just waiting. And I don't know, their strats seem like they've done this before and that they're so used to it and comfortable with it that I don't think the Terps are ready to challenge that, which is why I think we're falling behind just a little bit.
Oh, and ZK1 already at such low HP early on. That is definitely gonna like throw a wrench in the Terps' plans, because ZK1's been really important in the late round stages. And here he is again, using that operator here on A site, and Illini is not backing down at all. They still want to execute this A site despite all the utility in their face, and also with their players getting picked off with Cloud, although they are able to respond. That Viper finding both ZK1 and Cloud levels the playing field here, and with the bomb planted, now the ball is shifted into Illini's court. They simply have to wait for this retake, and a shorty and a Viper smoke. Little bit scary here for the retake efforts of the Terps, but they just have to be aware of these things on this map because of the nature of how the map is set up.
Just knowing those corners are so tight and then hiding in that Viper smoke at the same time is crazy work, but it's a good strat, and I think it would end up working out. Hopefully Moose is able to get a pick. He gets one on that Viper, and he gets a second one, but unfortunately we just need one more to take him down, and here is Moose just taking a deep breath and just able to just go ahead and defuse that bomb.
Oh, barely 1.78 seconds to spare. And if there's anything that's hopefully going to get the Terps back in this game, it's a clutch like that. You know, Moose got 3 there and had a classic for most of it and was still able to kind of crawl back into an unfavorable position. And yeah, here he is just getting those 2 there, and then pulls out his classic there at the end with the deadly right click to give the Terps a win and get some ultimates on the board for them. 3 available, and we have seen Yex be absolutely devastating with that Neon Ultimate. So I am just waiting for him to pop that and for us to have a show here to watch.
Yeah, ZK1's again comfortable with his op pick here, just slowly creeping up on that Vise. Hopefully that Vise peeks in and he's not able to get, you know, caught off guard here, but it's okay because we have Moose being there. But unfortunately, we get traded off, which is a good thing, but our numbers are still even. But we know that this Viper on Illini side is very good with their Viper ult. So either way, the Terps have to play their cards right because it's not looking good, especially if it's going to be on that A site.
Yeah, bomb planted early, Viper pit early as well. So the Terps gotta click up this retake sooner rather than later. Yex does pull out. The Neon Ultimate finds 2 with it and is hungry for more. He might be just run into this Viper pit here at any moment along with his teammates. He's gonna do so. Throws up the wall, pulls out his ultimate, pulls out a Vandal instead as he finds a 3-piece for himself as Cloud is working on that defuse. All that's left is this Viper, but the defuse was already underway. And what a beautiful retake for the Terps. But it still just wasn't enough. Although it looked like it was gonna be, everything went right for them in that retake, and they were just not able to finish that round. But look at this. Look at Yex here, cooking up this retake.
I'm so glad you manifested it too, because look at this. It was all, what was it, like a 4-piece at the end of it? But like you said, the econ is just not looking too good. I mean, for either side, but nonetheless, if one wins, it can make or break the rest of the game. We're already neck and neck as it is, and it's almost a mirror match, so it's kind of like they're playing against one another. But this time, ZK1 goes ahead and gets a Phantom instead, and is going to go ahead and play it safe, back off just a little bit, as the rest of the Terps go ahead and try to help him out on A site here.
Yeah, once again, we're seeing just so much attention on this A site. Cloud left here playing aggressively on the site and gets caught in the crossfire of it all. Bomb planted again early, but this time Sin and ZK1 respond. And that is hopefully what will flip the script for the Terps, but the round is not over till it's over. Bomb is ticking. Sin still trying to fight for site control, having a hard time doing it. Yex as well follows in his footsteps down to a 1v1, and it won't go in the Terps' favor. Again, so close, but so far.
Yeah, Moose is starting to meet his match here. We saw how this Viper performed on Lotus, but now that we're on Corrode, it's looking like this Viper is just good at any map that they're thrown onto. And it's with the 9-5, you know, KD going on right now, it's, I don't know, it's not looking so hot. But either way, not to down on Moose at all, because we know Moose is very good with his sidearms, whether it's right-clicking, whether it's with the Sheriff, and with this Ghost, I'm sure everything will be fine for the save round. And again, our Terps are Devil Demons, so either way, we should be able to get some decent picks, even if we can't act as aggressive as we want to be. But it looks like it's a little bit of like a AAB kind of movement. They want to switch it up here on Illini's side, trying to be different, trying to go on to B. But we know that Frog Lady is good at just cashing out onto the Terps, just getting a pick and retracting, and then going back to help their team by placing smokes and just moving where the wind takes the rest of Illini's team. And they're taking their time. They're very patient with B. Everybody's starting to slowly rotate back, maybe a little bit of a mid push onto A, but the bomb is favoring A as Frog Lady's just watching B main.
And already ZK1 has that chamber ultimate back online, and he's using it early as possible here again in this next round. And no picks yet, but man, each team can kind of taste it right now. And ZK1 is looking for a swing. It's gonna get one. TP's back to safety, keeps that chamber ultimate in his hand, and is posted up already for another push to come, and is ready for this jet, but the dash forces Crosshair in an awkward place, and eventually does get killed. Yex, they're right behind him to respond, but still, Terps running into an issue here on this A site round after round. Will this be the round that they're able to flip the script and end this curse that this A site seems to have as Moose gets picked? It's looking even more dire, and Cloud as well, it's quick to follow. And oh my goodness, I don't know what it is with this A site, but Illini just has it on lock.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the Terps are still trying to find a way to counter it. The spaces are tight, and it's a good thing that our coach Nopasa was able to get that timeout started. Like, what can we talk about? What can we do? Obviously, we need to strengthen our A push. or A defensive and try to work around the Viper. The Viper's wall on A is the same wall every time, the same way it was on Lotus. How can we work around that, especially now that Moose is also playing the same character? Is there a way to maybe just counter it? Is there a way maybe to act more aggro? Do we need more shorties? Do we need more judges? What do we need?
And I like that you mentioned this Viper utility. Illini has been playing it beautifully, both on map number 1, but also here on Corrode. They're really good at working around the orbs and the walls to buy them enough space to get onto the site. And then once they're there, they have such a strong post plant, and they're kind of like being aggressive with their post plant, but they're also making sure to always like play life when it really comes down to it. And you have that like one person who's playing safe in case it does come down to a 1v1 scenario. And that's what's really worked out so beautifully for them on this A side, and the Terps have not found a way to really counter that yet.
Not at all. We already have Frog Lady 11-6, but it's okay because ZK1's slowly following behind with 10-8. He's gonna stay with the Vandal this time. I don't think there was much money left for an op, so we are gonna be a little safer, but still aggro at the same time. I'm pretty sure all ZK1 wants is to at least get a pick and then move back out, because look at how aggressive this Fade is going. I've been waiting to see Yex do a crazy play again on Neon. Was able to get a good swing there around that corner and a little bit of a stun, but that's a good starting field for the Terps already.
Bit of a mid brawl here. ZK1 getting picks to make that 2, with Moose also helping out, and just what a bloodbath here into this like upper mid area. And once Illini just decided not to go A site, the Terps say, hey, like we can handle this, it's all good. It's just a matter of being ready for if they, you know, decide to switch up the play call.
Yeah, this could have gone really bad since ZK1, you know, could have just gotten smacked right then and there, but he crouched. I think that's what really messed the Jet up, was the fact that he crouched and just missed his crosshair just a little bit, because that could have been really bad. All 4 people just running in there willy-nilly could have been really bad, but that is going to set us up for success. Hopefully we can get 6-6 before we swap sides. I think it's very possible, but this Fade is just very adamant with their dog and just throwing it that util and getting as much information as they can for their team, because look at this now. They're locked in, they're waiting for more information to be told as that Fade goes ahead and throws that eye. It's wow.
And Illini did not really follow up on that Viper wall until now, like much later into the round. They waited for that Omen smoke to dissipate before throwing down their ultimates here on this A site, and it's bought them just so much space here, and it's really just forced the Terps to take a second and regroup for this retake. That's going to be very difficult though because of this Viper pit, but we have the counter pit for the Terps, and we'll have to see how both of these teams respond to having to dodge large areas of this map. Looks like ZK1 will take the approach of just kind of waiting for someone to potentially push out. He may contact that Fade early on, but the Fade does have a shorty. It is a little bit freaky, but the bomb is ticking down. ZK1's gonna be the one to respond, although he does end up getting traded, and the kills are coming through for Illini, and here we are again, curse of the A site.
Yeah, it's just they all had shorties on lock, and I feel like countering a Viper All with another Viper All, it's like the blind leading the blind. You're so cautious and you're a little scared to move around, but honestly, the shorty play, they're just lucky enough that it wasn't a judge. I feel like a judge or a Bucky, we would have gotten collided, like 2 of the players would have gotten collided, and that would have been it. But honestly, I feel like it could have gone well if just, I don't know, something just different needs to happen. I think we just need to switch sides. I think we're going to get more plays from Yex here. It's going to be more aggro now that we're on attacker's side. I'm hoping to see more Neon just wall up, dash in, slide, Bucky, something like that. I'm really banking on that combo while ZK1's just hiding behind with an op. But let's not speak too soon as we get into this first pistol round. We already have a lot of stuff happening here. Yex was able to get a pick, but unfortunately gets traded out and loses Sin, but Moose is able to get Frog Lady. It's just trade behind trade.
Oh my gosh, UMD's on a mission. That was so aggressive. And it paid off for them for the moment, although like the numbers are even. I feel like their morale is just shifted for some reason this map as the triple swing comes through, and each side able to get one. Moose only down to 5 HP though. That is going to be an issue later on as the Terps still have like good bomb control, and Moose does get killed. It's up to Cloud here in a 1v2. Again, he's the one holding the spike, so still in a good position to get that planted if he's able to kind of weasel his way here onto this B site while it's still a 1v1 before that Jet really catches up there.
Yeah, I don't think Cloud knows that the Viper is just one corner away from him, but it's good to play safe here. But it's looking like he's just trying to make sure that he doesn't get caught off guard, and hopefully he's able to catch the Viper before he drops down and the Viper sees him on top of that hut. I'm like shaking right now, guys. This is crazy. But unfortunately, he does get picked off. But there wasn't much to do there. We already were so low and just so much happened, but we did have good momentum in the beginning, and we just need to keep going with that for the rest of the round and try to not fall apart in the middle of it.
That was insane in the early round. They just were so confident in, you know, swinging and killing those players holding mid, and it worked out for them. They got control of that B site, but they just lost too many people in the process, and it really came back to bite them in the end.
Yeah, and I'm sure that there's going to be a little bit of a force, from Illini. I don't know if the Terps are actually just going to stay like that with just some sheriffs here, but this Jet is starting to pick up momentum and just trying to be like CK1 just a bit with this outlaw, and was able to get Sin, unfortunately, but there was a good trade after that. That's the thing with the Terps and Illini. They just keep trading one another, but unfortunately, Yex just gets caught in the crossfire while ZK1 is already 2 HP with a Phantom and a Dream. Frog Lady just finishes it off, and the numbers still just aren't looking so hot as Cloud just has a classic yet again.
ZK1 caught with his knife out, and it will cost him the bomb and probably the round here for the Terps. As like you said, the buy's not looking great for them, the positioning's not looking great for them, and they looks like they'll have to take another loss here, especially with Cloud getting taken down. It's all kind of crumbling here, and the Terps have to respond sooner rather than later. You know, like this, we're on map number 2. If Illini takes this one, series over, and that's not the way that the Terps want to start in a new league here and play versus in the Premier League at all. So they've got to really, you know, get into shape here quickly for their own sake here.
Yeah, most definitely. It looks like they're gonna go ahead and just buy up, and I don't know, just Frog Lady went ahead and just went back to some sheriff action here, but we have rifles now, and that's all that matters on the Terp side. We just really have to keep the momentum going. We're so good for the first minute in the round, but then once things start to fall apart, the whole plan falls apart, and that's not what we want right now. Unfortunately, ZK1 gets picked off, but hopefully Yex is able to just help his team out and just spray and hope that he can get some damage going on here. But Sin, wow, the Fade is just going to go ahead and pick off Yex in the process. Like, the Terps are on the move right now, trying not to get caught off guard, but Cloud is able to be right with the spike here along with Moose. They're holding hands, and it's just them two and a Dream, but this Jet is just not letting go of this outlaw and gets Moose in the process.
And Cloud's really gonna have to fight to get a pick here. Low HP, not gonna go his way, and we've blinked and the Terps are in a 5-round deficit, and you know, Illini knocking at the door at 10 round wins, and with map number 1 already going in their favor. You know, I keep saying it, but the time is running thin here for the Terps to kind of cook something up, and you know, we thought the half switch was gonna really help things out, but they're still struggling here on attack.
Yeah, I don't know. If you ask me, I think we should call for another pause from the coach. That's just me, but I think it's just, we just need to figure something out. I'm not quite sure what's causing us to crumble so fast, but what I'm hearing so far is that this Jet is already just gotta pick with that op, and we're finally meeting a match here. I think ZK1's finally meeting that match with that Jet op, and it's not, from the sounds of it, it's not here. It doesn't seem so good so far, so...
Yeah, the Jet taking a page out of ZK1's book, holding that same angle with a long-range weapon. Sin and Yex able to respond though, just trying to get any control of this A side. All that's left is Yex and Bucky there, and switches to the classic though, and the timing is just off. And again, we didn't really see all of that round, but clearly in the early round something went wrong in terms of positioning and picks.
And I'm glad I manifested it too, because we really did need that timeout. Like, what strategies can we go for? I think, honestly, if you asked me, I think ZK1 should have just gone duelist as well with Yex. Like, I don't know, he performed very well in Yoru, and I think a Yoru Neon, like, I'm not too familiar with, you know, what team comp is very good for Corrode, but I think we saw how well ZK1 was able to be as Yoru, and I think a 2 duelist play would have been very beneficial for our team so far. It's looking like Coach Novaso is very stressed, and I cannot blame him, because after this map, that's that. And you know, the Terps really need to gain that momentum back up again, and there's some things that need to be itched, and it's not getting itched. I'm real itchy, like I just can't figure it out myself. Like, what is going on? And maybe Illini's just that good with their players, and like, you know, I'm not really seeing much action from the Jet. I'm seeing it from the Fade, I'm seeing it from the Omen, I'm seeing it from the Viper, but what about their duelist? And maybe that's tripping them up in a way. I'm not quite sure.
You see ZK1 taking a deep breath, eyes closed, hands up, deep breath, and I like that, because I think that's what needs to happen here for the Terps. They're playing panicked. They're not playing, like, ever since round 1 on attack, I haven't seen them look confident. And I think that's what they're missing here on this attack, and that is what they're going to try and work on here as they go guns blazing into mid. They do have a Viper wall to work around, you know, nothing new. That's been kind of the theme here, is having a Viper and like positioning around that wall. But are they able to flip the script here? Are they able to get control of what looks like is going to be this B site, but via mid? Yex gets things started with a pick to go his way, and he's like hungry for more there with a Phantom in hand, is just waiting for a swing, not pushing or not swinging first, just waiting for a swing there. But time's going to start ticking down, and the Terps have to kind of get this game plan underway if this is going to be a B hit. That Viper wall just going to keep recharging. It's going to keep making things difficult, and knowing that, the Terps are scaling back towards this A site.
No, yeah, it was looking like a family reunion on B. Like, a lot of the Terps are bunched up there, but they have to make a move soon. At 40 seconds, they're gonna have I think all they have to do is just get that spike down and then defend and play post plant, because that's really what they need. Because here, Yex gets caught off guard from that Viper, but fortunately, Cloud was there to help. But A-side just isn't our strongest suit when it comes to planting and staying on top of things. Just, I hope Cloud doesn't get picked off in the process, but hopefully he's protected while planting.
And the plant finally comes down for the Terps, something that we haven't seen in a while. ZK1 holding down this A site, finds 2 amazing picks. It's not enough to seal the deal, and it has to be Cloud to finish the job here. Has a really good eye on this angle and just cannot quite hit that shot. And the Terps will pay for it at series point.
Yeah, I honestly, like, I think we get good picks. We get a good pick, and then it's kind of just slow in the middle of that. And because of that, we're freaking out just a little bit, trying to make sure we get that spike down, but we're not there for one another. I feel like if somebody was with Yex there, because it was just timing, that orb went away, he was running in, gun was not able to be pulled out in the same time, and ultimately got picked off. I don't think I've seen Yex stay alive until like plant, unfortunately. Yeah. And that's the life of a duelist. If it's one thing about a duelist, you either entry and stay alive the whole round, or you entry and get picked off in the beginning of the round. But we thank you for your sacrifice, Yex, and it's very helpful. He was able to get that first pick on the first round, so either way, thank you.
That round they were able to get the bomb down,
yeah,
which is something that, you know, you can't say for a couple of their other rounds here, but it all boils down to this series point. Terps have a long way to go here if they want to take this map, but it all starts here, knowing that ZK1 gonna use that chamber ultimate and is going to post up into mid, and it's just kind of waiting for those like a rotate player to come through, because the rest of his teammates are making a lot of noise here on this B site. So I think that's going to be the strategy, and it might work out for him. No, he's going to head off that angle as the Terps double back and cut noise a little bit just to see where Illini is thinking.
Yeah, you know, I'm very happy that ZK1 has his ult out and ready, because hopefully this can get a pick off for all of us, but we already know once that Viper ult's down by Illini, it's very difficult. But here we have Yex is getting down and dirty, gets that pick onto the Viper. No more Viper ult, but unfortunately, well, actually, fortunately, our numbers are still doing pretty good. Let's just not panic and let's just lock in and keep the momentum going. Let's not freak out because right now, Frog Lady knows what they're doing. If it's one thing, they know what they're doing. Oh no! Unfortunately, ZK1 TP'd out and got caught at his own TP. But this Viper here still has to maneuver around the Terps and thankfully is about to get caught off, but unfortunately gets picked off.
And series number 1 for the Terps here in the studio. Unfortunately, not going to go in their way. But we as Terps fans have a lot to be excited about. You know, ZK1 had a great performance and he's a new face to this team. So I think the future of this team is bright this year. They just have to really, I think, build some of that chemistry. Like, a lot of these players know each other, but they haven't been on the same team as a 5 stack for too long yet, and I think that is going to be an important piece of the puzzle here as they continue in this new league and play versus.
No, I'm so excited for how the rest of, you know, the team is going to be able to collaborate with one another and work with one another. Don't get me wrong, team chemistry is what we want. We love it. We need it. And that's something that the Terps are really good at. So either way, I'm sure that this is something that they're going to work on, but it was still a good game. All of our players performed very well tonight, and as did Illini, and it's still a good night.
Yeah, and hey, we're happy to be back here for the semester. We want to thank you all for tuning in to our very first of many Valorant streams this semester on Thursday nights. So please catch us here, same time, same place next week for some more Valorant. Thanks, guys.